We are live. Okay.
Oh my goodness.
Friday is super exciting in the parts of the world where we are. And before I make introduction to this gorgeous guest, we want to find our LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube live so we can chat with you guys.
Hello, hello, hello.
Who is joining us? Let's see. We're looking excited about your comments. Okay, guys, don't be shy. I know we got a little bit few minutes early. That is great. We're having a little bit of delay, so if you guys would bear with us. We just want to make sure that we don't have an echo, and also want to make sure that all of you are joining us because we just pulled the trigger a few minutes early.
Yeah. So.
Okay. Okay, everyone. I know you are excited to have a fantastic weekend. And one of the main reasons why I decided actually to do this LinkedIn Live to get you in phenomenal space for upcoming weekend and upcoming holidays in next 2 weeks or so. December is action-packed with not only holidays, but also last-minute tasks and things we want to do, right? But most than anything, it's centered around people that we value, people that we appreciate, people that we really want to express our gratitude to. And one of the reasons I also wanted to have this gorgeous lady join me from Turkey, from Istanbul, 7 o'clock, almost 7 o'clock your time, right? It's evening, Nesli.
Yes, it's evening time. Yes.
And Nesli, for everybody that does not know who she is, Nesli Girgin is LinkedIn influencer. She is foremost than anything else, servant leader, a heart center leader, visionary, game changer, transformer, which I absolutely love what she's doing in our LinkedIn family and community that is global. She also very heart-centered, supporting a lot of NGOs. And it's just so great to see what's possible to do in an environment when we lead with our passion, with our heart, and our best intentions. Nesli, welcome.
Warm hello. Thank you, dear Izabela. It's so nice to be with you. And also our audiences, whoever they are and around of us.
Yes. One of the main reasons, as we're seeing close to the end of the year, we are exiting very turbulent and very challenging year, aren't we? 2020 was not a walk in the park.
You are right. I agree with you. And it seems next year will be a little bit fluctuating year also. We are expecting as it will be like that.
Yes.
Yes.
But to start on the best foot forward and figure out the best ways how we can support one another, we need to really kind of a little bit depict what happened in this year to make tremendous success. And specifically from your point of view, with such a large global impact, influence, visibility. So do you mind for our audience share just a little bit about you, about your upbringing, where did you grow up, and how that shaped you, who you are today?
Of course. I owe my today's to my ancients. They came from Middle Asia. They were living in Middle Asia. Then they started to live in our lovely city, Konya, Karaman, closer city of our great philosophers. Sufi believer Rumi. We call him as Rumi, but Turkish people know him as Mevlana. Mevlana Celaleddin Rumi is resting in our lovely city Konya, and my ancients were living around of this area also. They were good teachers, they were good farmers, so that my ancients brought those knowledge to my grandparents, then to my mom, to my dad, so that first of all, ancients, and also, of course, God brought us today's. And my parents were so loving and so caring people. Still they are. So that my childhood was like that. We were together with every people, with every communities. We were caring each other. After my ancients, my grandparents, my mother and father, I love books so much. Grew up with books, so that it was so natural to live with books, to sleep with books, to get up with books. I read so classical books in my primary school times. And even one day was enough to finish one Tolstoy book. It was so natural to me. Those brought the Nesli today's, I think, first of all.
Yeah. Wow, such a interesting start in the background, and I'm glad you mentioned Rumi and his philosophy and work that he accomplished, and beautiful words of wisdom, and just to have that so early, to be exposed to that, it is extremely powerful. On contrary, on my side, I was exposed so early on Mother Teresa's charity and her work that she did at that time in Africa, before she started doing work in India. So so interesting to look at little parallels there. And guys that you're watching and listening, yes, we live in technology world, but nothing can replace taking hardcover book that has that smell of the books have, right? Specifically older ones, and going through the pages of something so priceless.
Yes, I agree with you, and it's so important that to love smells of books, because I love ebooks also. I read them. They are so practical in one mobile to use to read, but the smell of books is priceless for me. It's still same. Yes.
We need a convenience. We need an opportunity also, and it's great to have that on Kindle, and we don't have to carry too many things, specifically when we're traveling. And both of us been traveling quite a bit in the past years, right? Not as much this year.
Yes, you are right. Now we are at homes, all communities, so that we are trying to do something new. Even many people started to read the first time in their lives.
Yes. This year definitely put us to a lot of new and firsts, right? Never done before. With this upbringing and a very close family unit, obviously, in Turkish culture, when do you first remember as a little girl that you were exposed to servant leadership? Because you're doing servant leadership so phenomenally well. And I know that you had to feel it, see it, demonstrated early on. So what was the memory that you can recall, and you can share the story, please?
Yes, it was natural for me, because my mom, especially my mother's mom, was perfect servant leader. She was caring everybody with unconditional love. But all my grandparents were so respectful people, and they were caring everybody. whoever we learn who died, whoever we learn to marry, we were helping them. We were going to compliment whoever achieved anything, so that I grew up with this atmosphere. There wasn't any jealousy, there wasn't any bad action around of us. Yes, there were bad characteristics maybe, but they were caring my grandparents because of they were so respectful. I learned to be servant leader from them naturally. I didn't know that it was servant leadership, but it was just occurring around me in my childhood. I was living in this atmosphere.
That is beautiful. So you're one
Yeah,
of the lucky people, and I also had a similar experience to experience that from my maternal grandmother, and seeing that also in my household, and always being willing, caring to support others. And now looking back in years of study and experience, and having the label or term or definition, what all of that means and how that look like.
yeah,
We definitely are seeing more and more, not only that is in some people's in DNA and comes naturally, but we're also
yeah.
seeing as everything that is going on in the world, it's necessary. Wouldn't you say that?
Yes, of course. And some feelings and some actions come in your way. You don't think that it's necessary. You think that it's natural. If you teach your children to be good people, good person, first of all, you must be good person to them, so that they um, they copy us. In fact,
Mm. Yeah, because we need to demonstrate it, right? Something
yes,
for others to do or know what we exactly mean or what that looks like. I see a lot of theoretical stuff, but nothing beats the practical application and demonstration. And I
yes,
think that is the beautiful power about leadership, because anybody can be a leader and should be leading not only their own life and life of their family member and supporting them in that, but also extended knowledge and skills and those special gifts outside to the
yes.
world, right?
Yes, you are right. I agree with you. That's why our passion guides us, in fact.
Yes. And then they also lead us to create naturally, organically these relationships and connections, like you and I, we did, which was just so organic with no premeditated, specific, reason, but more about just giving opportunity to share to others. If we are in alignment with who we are, we're comfortable with who we are.
Yes,
We attract people like ourselves, but also we now can create more value. And
yes,
I'm sure, because we really wanted to focus also on the community aspects of it, things that are not defined by borders, not by language or cultures, that are just global aspects of it in true essence. So,
yes.
do you mind sharing a little bit about how did you start creating this amazing global community that you nurtured over the years, that is not only highly following you, engaging with you, but also growing, building, and expanding and creating greater good for everyone?
Yeah. It started with my mom's brain surgery, in fact, because many of my followers know this story, but I have to tell this to confess my gratitude to God again. Our doctors were so good people, but they were hopeless about our mom. We prayed for her many times, so that God sent us a doctor, Mr. Mustafa. We are grateful for him. He gave back our mom to us as a second spring. We were so hopeful. We learned to live, to speak, to to walk again with my mom, and I quit my job in that times, so that I know what does it mean to be helpless, what does it mean to be hopeless desperately, because you don't have anything in your hands to do. You can't do anything to your mom or your loved ones. Just God knows better than us, and we had only thing to pray and LinkedIn. I started LinkedIn in that days because when we brought our mom to house, we had time to care for her while everybody was working, going out. We were together with my mom, so that I started LinkedIn. I started to think, how can I earn money? And I started to make some project works, and I started to share my feelings in Turkish, first of all. But whatever I shared, my followers were foreigners.
Yeah,
Abroad, they were following me in Turkish, whatever I tell them. So that I changed my mind and I started to write my feelings in English, because I feel that my followers care my shares with their hearts, and they know that I care themselves also with my heart. So that this relationship started with like that. And I must confess that I learned this from my dear friend Amir Kayal. He was so caring, he was supporting people, he was returning his followers, and he was checking their activities, putting likes, writing comments to their posts. He could pass maybe millions of followers till now, but he's with many people, many of us, so that I learned to care people, to care their activities, their efforts from him, first of all. And I met many great leaders under Amir Kayas's posts. That's why I can say many great leaders as my friends nowadays. More than I can't count now, but they are great leaders, and I am grateful to God that gave all of them to me with those efforts.
that is wonderful.
So I lost myself.
No, you're doing great. But that is beautiful how organically you, from pain and isolation and major change during your mom's illness, transformed and
Yeah.
took that action, and how you initially tried this in Turkish, and then you recognize LinkedIn is platform that actually is so global, so international, and how you push yourself out and out of comfort zone to try it in English, and then the rest of it's history. Right now, I know the people do the cliche measures. Oh my God, she has a 500,000 of followers, or he has 1 million of followers. But it's not the culture of followers, it's the culture of quality of your posts and level of engagement that tracks quality of leaders that you just mentioned. And as a result, people follow you and people constantly want you more and looking forward to it, that every day positivity and aspects where they feel that they're heard, that are understood, that are supported. So
Yeah.
it's just so beautiful, guys, for all you watching and listening, how everything falls in place when you decide that you're going to take a risk and do what you need to do to make it happen.
I think so. I think so. To take risks and also to observe the change is important, because if I keep going to write in Turkish, maybe I would give up, because there were so few people that they were in the same frequency with me. They are still with me also. That's all. We have to observe changes and we have to focus our personal development.
Yes, that is very, very powerful. With our personal development and our own desire to grow and challenge every day, right? I mean,
Yeah.
both of us have an English, not as a first language, right?
Yes,
And
of
and
course.
and then putting ourselves vulnerably out there on the global eye. And specifically right now, LinkedIn Live, so many leaders that I know don't want to even touch it because they want to rather have filmed, edited, staged, prepared, and not really authentic and real organic conversation. And that's what we also need in order to better connect and understand each other. And one of the things, again, I kudo you for showing up and experimenting not only with new technology, but the new ways of communicating so that, again, you constantly continue serving. And that is very powerful.
I think so. I think so. It's so powerful. And touching so many hearts with that way. And you are meeting with souls. You are keeping soul connection with them, not face to face. Of course, we are away from each other, but we are living with our souls and hearts. That's why it's important to care people, not for likes, not for comments, but to care themselves, their lives. That's why many people are feeling your soul and heart. This is so important.
Yes, and sharing your heart and soul, sharing your knowledge and information, because that's the only way we can better humanity in essence, specifically when we look at the magnitude of implications we've seen this year. Families are separated, many members passed away, people lost their job, instability. We are definitely more isolated, specifically for single people that live alone. We have so many concerns, but also we have so many opportunities, because if we find a way, or what can we do, what we focus on that, we can be surprised how much more we can accomplish, isn't it?
Of course, of course. It's so important that we can accomplish many things if we focus our lives. But if we focus like world view, we can manage, we can achieve more things with togetherness. This is so important, especially we experienced last year in the 2020 more, because we were more connected on LinkedIn with many people. They had many spare times at home. They started to post more. They started to support others' activities more, so that LinkedIn is an area of the possibilities of more achievement together.
Yes, and it's interesting when we use just that one particular social media, that is, again, professional social media, where people are coming together to network, learn from each other, and gain trusted friends, colleagues, leadership, obviously, influence, mentors, coaches, but also future opportunities and growth, right? Obviously, with that social infrastructure that is being offering to people to support, to build this global community, I also see that a lot of great goals, desires that are in common coming all together. And right now, with this particular year, connectivity is so important, and sense of belonging, sense of a community where we can just be who we are without worried about, are we going to be accepted, or what we're lacking, and how we're going to be treated. And more than ever, people are going where they feel, again, embraced, fully accepted, and where they feel liked and loved, right?
Yes, I agree with you, and your words are so resonating with me. Our hearts met with you, and souls met with you.
That is great. I'm glad to hear that, because some things you just don't understand. They just, I mean, we don't have to analyze it. We just feel it, right? And that's that beautiful connection when we know that we're coming from right intention. And then from that right intention, we allow time to learn from each other. And then it's a ripple effect. Then we merge communities, we create then bigger, larger community. And as a result, we truly then start making sustainable change and transformation. Because what happens is when we do this, it's a pool of resources, right?
Yeah.
that magnify these individual efforts, and then
Oh.
they give us even more so support. But one thing I want to ask you, Nesli, you also are creating obviously something on foundation of kindness, love, and happiness. That's kind of your voice that I feel with everything you do, with all these great emojis that creates all the great feelings, but positive quotes and quotes that and words of wisdom really tie the story, and they're actually very timely, very relevant. So,
Thank you. This is so important for me if I made a positive impact in people's life.
and do you mind share a little bit about that? Because when I've seen your posts, I didn't obviously go from years ago, but recent weeks and months. So do you mind sharing a little bit? What do you see also as a trend in this year, and what can we anticipate in the next year?
Thank you. My emojis are my blessings emojis. In fact, I send blessings to people. Some of them are so caring, my emojis. Some of them are writing as comments, as responses. What does it mean, those emojis? As a business firm, they are asking me who don't know me. Then I say them that those emojis are my blessings team, so that I am sending blessings on your way and yours. Many of them started to use those emojis after this dialogues. So first of all, I receive many positive or negative impacts. Whoever judge me, whoever discuss with me, with my posts, with my comments, at the end of the dialogue, they always thank me and say that you are so kind person. And I respond them. We need to remember our humanity side. We are all human beings, but we need to calibrate our humanity side. We are so negative. We are living in many struggles. We are divorcing. We are leaving from our lovers. We are losing our loved ones. This is the most important thing, that when we lose our loved ones, it means something breaks from your heart and you can't complete it. There is no glue for that pain. That's why we need to remember our humanity side. And this kindness is like a signature for me, like my core values. My core values are trust and honesty. Whatever you think about me, you can say those things to my face. And if I do something wrong to you, I can say this to your face. I don't talk about you behind. I tell all of those things to your face, then you can break your friendship with me. If I did something wrong, I can ask forgiveness, because God is accepting our prayers, our forgiveness prayers. Who we are? We are ordinary human beings. But first of all, we must know that if we make something wrong, we must tell this to face of people. All those things made a reflection over LinkedIn, so that I started this kindness, like an etiquette, but not etiquette. It's a message to all of us. We need to act with kindly and also to develop empathy in between of people.
That is so beautiful. Thank you for sharing that piece, because you're right. Kindness is it's so essential, but also empathy, understanding others, because nobody's perfect, and it's so easy to judge. It's easy to put people down, and we're seeing quite a bit of negative news. You're totally right, because of the media and the way what media focuses on, and things that separate us, and then creates more conflicts. And we see some symptoms and dynamics that I personally have seen in beginning of the wars and conflicts, and that needs to stop. And you're right, people are divorcing, people are breaking the family units too quickly, too easily sometimes, on things that could be worked on, and put in right efforts of things that matters the most. One thing I'm really seeing, which I'm really glad, how much people are truly appreciating the healthy friendships, the healthy family relationships, right? With people, maybe not all of the relationship with family members will be healthy, and not everybody's on the same page, but with people that you have common ground, how beautiful it is to engage, because you're not exhausted, you're not stressed out, you're not fighting, you're not focusing on what's missing, you're focusing on love, you're focusing what's there. And reason why I want us to have this conversation, because next week is one of the major holidays in United States and other parts of the world, and Catholic Christianity or whatever, but it's other holidays in Judaism and Islam and other major cultures. And I wanted to make sure that we're going with the right intentions. What gift we're giving. And is a materialistic gift, or we're giving ourselves as the best gift to all of the people that we can, and what message that we are sharing. And a reason again for LinkedIn, why I'm pushing LinkedIn here, it's easy to do the lovey-dovey on Facebook, it's easy to do even things on YouTube, but it's also bringing back humanity and human touch in the human force and working environment. And I think you are really good at doing that.
Thank you. Thank you. We are living in Istanbul. Istanbul is beautiful, lady. We say it like that. And Istanbul has one important specialty, that it's a mirror of all religions or all beliefs, and also non-believers, because there are many people that they are searching their ways. They are asking the meaning of God. They are asking why some people are acting so rudely, even if they talk about love of religion, but they are acting harmfully each other. So that we have to develop an understanding, first of all, as peace builders and also good. That's why I love to say that we need to develop goodwill being. This is kind of small group's name, but also it's a kind of activity that we need to develop empathy and kindness through all religions, beyond all religions, because Rumi says, and also there is Yunus Emre, Hacı Bektaş, those people are in the same level of Sufi believers, and they lived in the same era of Anatolia. Yunus Emre, Hacı Bektaş, Mevlana, Rumi means Rumi. They lived in the same era, and their message were same. They focused human heart. Whoever goes Kabe or Jerusalem, if you don't touch hearts, you can't believe any religion. First of all, you have to clear your heart, then you can clear your mind, because we are living with our hearts. If our hearts die, our brains can't work. We can live with machines in the hospitals, but if our hearts die, we can't live anymore, because our hearts are connection of our souls. Even if our soul has only 29 grams, but our souls are guiding us in our soul journeys. We have to focus our hearts, focus our soul's impact, and listen to our hearts more. This is important, that if we to remember our humanity side, we have to live more focused in our hearts, to listen our hearts more, of course.
That is fantastic. And I love that you mentioned again Sufism and how is some parallels happening. And I want to just to quickly share a little story through my work, rehabilitating genocide, torture, war trauma, human trafficking, rape victims from 100 countries. I had the privilege to work with elderly Sufi master and to be exposed to Sufism in a true essence and his wisdom. And I remember he had a completely white hair and a beard, and were just such a interesting, but he had these blue piercing eyes. He was just so calm and very centered. And when I interviewed him, but I also really studied the Dalai Lama's teaching, which when you look at geographical, we're talking about Tibet, right? And then we're talking about Sufism in the Middle East, two major different geographic regions. And then I had a privilege to work with a Native American chief of Navajo tribe and have a conversation. All three cultures, and you spot on said the same thing. How do you measure human success? Specifically because culturally, how men, because the men are the name, the tradition, the last name, all of that. How do you measure someone's success? And three things that they all shared, and I share that in my book because I found this such a profound and very timely too, is raising the children or a child, even if they're not yours, helping to raise others. And what you're doing here is raising community in an environment that is nurturing, that is cultivating, that is positive, that is engaging. And then just passing on that spoken word. At the time was no much of the books to be written, right? Some of them lived in centuries where was storytelling very profound. And that is how these stories got passed on generationally and now captured in new modern age in a written form. Like we have these amazing quotes from Rumi and amazing books, which again, are just so beautiful because they're being captured, right? And the thing what he said, or what they said, was the beauty is when we have the spoken word or through the books or other media, raising children or child, also planting the trees, passing that on for the future generation. And in a way, what I'm seeing, what you do in your community with efforts and bringing with that servant leadership board, planting the seed of the future servant leaders, of the future heart center leaders that are performing in a much healthier way. What are your thoughts
on that? I have to add one more thing to my words because I am coming from a culture that we were calling uncle and auntie to all of our neighbors. We were living together with all religions and whoever don't believe anything. We were sharing our meals with them and they were bringing their meals to us. We were respecting our beliefs and our lives, of course. That's why this is important, first of all, more if you are a servant leader. When we are living in that atmosphere, this is your this is supportive way of your lives. That's why you are accepting, even not accepting. You are thinking that everybody is living like that. There is no other thing or discrimination. I learned discrimination recently after starting business in around the globe. In fact, that's why this is important. I have to add this first of all, and the other one, your question. I am losing myself when I'm talking with you. Sorry for that. And when we know our life purpose, when we know that our roots, we are like trees, we are like flowers, especially roses. Roses have higher love frequency, which means roses us by our hearts. That's why rose is so important when we give our love to anybody. And when we serve others with this point of view, with this life purpose, and when we carry our core values together with us, like a bag, like a specific thing we carry, our children, our elderly, our fathers, mothers, families, our lovers, it is same for me. Whoever doesn't sound in the same frequency level or in the same core values, we can't meet them with uh, friends as friends. We can't keep going with them as friends. We can respect each other. We can be aware. First of all, my core values are honesty and trust. I look their hearts, people's hearts, first of all. If they say anything from their hearts, I can feel them, they can feel me. So that servant leadership starts from this point of view. Some people have more mindful people because mindful living is so important. There is Ash Place that my endless gratitude to him. And also there is Rishad Ahmed. My endless gratitude to him also. Both of them are great leaders. One is a mindset coach. The other one is heart um, heart-centered Zen coach. But at the same time, they teach us, they show us how to be a qualified at the end of the day. Because if you carry your mind together with your heart, your quality of living, quality of serving others, caring employees and employers are becoming more high levels. And we see this more often with dear esteemed Raj Gupta. He is following us. He is a good servant leader also. He is a high level of HR person, HR leader, and he knows what does it mean when I talk, when I share my point of views with you. Mm-hmm. At the end of my words, servant leadership starts with your core values and keep going with your heart and mind. When you know where to go, your aim, your people, you find many ways. Suddenly, a post drops your face so that you can check his or her activities to see if he or she is real. At the end of the dialogue, we met with you with this point of view. That's why servant leadership is natural leadership, but when you do it from your heart, people feel touched their lives.
Wow, that is so powerful, and you spot on. When we lead from our heart, guys, that you're listening again, it's important to be that authentic and lead with your own value, because then you in sync who you are and you congruent every day. You don't have a persona outside of the business world or social media and very different one in personal private life, right? But in the same time, you're more happier, you're more relaxed, you're dealing with better quality of people, you're dealing with less drama, you're not attracting that, and it just those people leads themselves out. So in a way, it's like, what is the downside? Absolutely no downside, unless you're addicted to drama and you like to have a conflicts every day, then go for it. But on the other hand, it's just wonderful to have then innovative, creative, heart-centered people in general around you, because you can do more. You can very quickly not only into collaborative new projects or joint ventures, but also ways to scale things up on the levels that you cannot do by yourself, or will take you too long or longer to do it on your own. And right now we live in a world when people truly don't understand globalization. that right now with virtualization and being new norm, even after COVID is over, we can compete for global talent in our organizations. We don't have any boundaries that we experience, and we can operate in so many different ways, specifically owning your own company, right? Like both of us do, or having ways of creating things that we don't have to go through 300 layers to make a choice and decision.
Yes.
And I just wanted everybody to really recognize what you just said, that on the end of the day, you're right. We can feel it. Either it's real, or either it's genuine, or if it's not.
I agree with you.
So with that in mind, specifically, guys, whoever is leveraging social media, even choice of words, even how do we show up, can be easily depicted of where we're coming from, what kind of business we are in, and how we handle that business. So if you don't mind sharing just before we close and wrap up for today, and I will definitely have you back, but do you mind sharing some golden nuggets for everybody that is starting and wanted to achieve the level of success that you're having, not only trusted, loyal, highly engaging tribe of so many people who have close to 500,000 of followers that are very, very active on LinkedIn. Again, taking away all the stigma of what LinkedIn is for and what is not for, as well as every post and the views, the shares, the comments, and as you mentioned, very high caliber individuals. If people desire that, what would you say they need to be before they do and before they can have that? Because a lot of people do things, but they're not being the thing they need to be in order to have it.
Yes, yes. First of all, everything starts with mutual ripple effect. We can share wonderful posts. If we stop only in our posts, and if only we can, if only we wait them to come our posts, people sometimes come, sometimes go, but if you want mutual relationships, mutual networking, you need to develop an understanding that all of us are human beings. There is no difference in between of anybody, because God loves God. God respects all of our praise in the same level. He doesn't care if we are millionaire or if we are poor person. Suddenly, a poor person can become a rich person. Suddenly, a rich person can become a poor person, because we are all people. As much as God is with us, we are the most greatest, richest person also, because money can't buy hearts. You can use money with your energy, you can use your posts with your energy, but if you put your heart, if you show your heart people, your posts resonate with more hearts. You can affect more positively other people. That's why I kindly suggest everybody to post important, post regularly, to be active regularly, important, because I started posting regularly in 2 years. I was good in commenting, because I had a aim to develop networks, so that I wrote that maybe millions of comments during the last 6 years, so that I met many great leaders. I quit some of their posts because they don't have any ambition to support their followers. They only post and pass. They only post and they don't respond their audiences. They don't put likes their audiences' activities. So that we need to develop, first of all, an understanding that we don't have any difference in between of a person who started LinkedIn today or Nesli started 6 years ago, because I can lose my account suddenly. Some of my friends lost their accounts. They started from zero. Some of them rescued their accounts and they started to grow again. And we experienced many painful with all LinkedIn fam, and our synergy broke. Many liars are gazing around, many screenshots are gazing around, which is not human being action. We have to develop an understanding that we have to respect everybody's personal lives, whoever you are, whoever we are. We are all poor people or rich people in front of God. We are equal.
Mm.
And adding my motto at the end of my words, our great leader Atatürk left a legacy. He
Mm.
told us many things. He left us his great book, Nutuk, greatest book. Tells us the setup, establish of Turkish Republic, because my ancients come from Ottoman Empire, and my that was teacher of a sultan and Ottoman Empire. We are coming from this tradition, but we accepted and loved Atatürk. We love him so much because he left a legacy to us, that he left his shining star and he told us that peace at home, peace in the world, which means peace, focus peace, first of all, in your country, develop peace around the world. That's why United Nations gave Atatürk a special grant that nobody granted in that way, that he is a great peace builder. We are still trying to develop peace with his understanding. That's why adding my motto, let's rise together for humanity. We can rescue each other and we focus humanity side. Otherwise, all people will die with those war, with those um, hate focusing, hate-centered news and actions. Let's develop empathy, kindness, and let's serve others with our hearts, with our love.
That is powerful. I'm
Thank
glad.
you.
I'm glad you touched on the peace. I'm glad also you touched on the legacy, because you even shared and I shared the great quote even from Jim Rohn: "All good men and women must take responsibility to create a legacies that will take the next generation to the level we could only imagine."
Yeah.
And that is so powerful because, as you know, I'm also having podcasts and Legacy Leaders Show, and show a segment of it with the video and whatnot. And why I chose that, because I realize a lot of time people go through life and live without ever thinking what is really important to them and what they want to pass on future generations, what they want to be remembered for, and how that greater good that they did is impacting generations to come. So with
Yeah.
that in mind, and with all the achievements you have so far, an already great legacy that you created and built for yourself, do you mind just sharing what is still in works? What would you like to still see achieve in your lifetime?
Yes, I have some dreams. First of all, I want to go to Northern Stars, Northern Lights. Yes,
Huh?
in Norway. This is
Ah,
my dream.
ah,
And some places of Turkey, there are powerful aurora in those areas, and also I want to visit some special areas. This is personal dream for me, and I am volunteer of Neuromuscular Disorders Association of Turkey. Many
mm,
of my friends can't breathe. They are hardly breathing. Last week, my greatest friend, Chidam, had a surgery from her stomach and she hardly recovered. We can recover from a stomach surgery easily, but their lives are more harder than us. That's why my greatest legacy is to see Neuromuscular Disorders Association had a building for themselves, because their building isn't their building. So this is my greatest legacy. And the other legacy is to develop a organization for job seekers, because when you are jobless, you don't have money in your pocket. You can't ask anybody, because many of us are also passing in hard days. I want to develop an organization that to support job seekers' needs without money, like exchanging something, or knowledge or other things, and giving them money.
So creating the resource for the job seekers around the world, so that they don't have to be stressed out more financially in the dire needs, but then yet still have a quality of work and being helped so that they can land the next job. I think that is very powerful, because we have gazillions of recruiting firms and ways of how people are doing, and specifically during the current time, how they're making money. But a big question it is, what results people are achieving, what tangible specific things they're improving upon, because people very quickly, I know so many that invested in so much, perfect resume, perfect this, perfect that, and they're still 12 months later struggling to find the right job, or even land very solid interviews. So I think that is a brilliant idea, because there's so much need and different model it's needed to solve that issue.
Yes, I think so.
That is so powerful. Nesli, it was such a great pleasure to have you today. Again, thank you for joining us from Istanbul, Turkey. Staying up late later this evening. And for getting us into right mode for the weekend and the next few weeks of major, or 3 weeks of major holidays and festivities, with the mindset of building phenomenal community, mindset of phenomenal creation, of connecting, right? And how we show up, and then just being authentically yourself and going at it, right?
Yes, I think so. Thank you.
Okay, dear listeners and viewers, stay tuned. Some more great interviews and follow-ups coming soon. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.